So hello everyone, welcome to my channel TechieTaught, and in this video we will discuss about how to uninstall Windows subsystem for Linux, as well as how to uninstall the Linux version which is required to run your Prometheus server in your local system. This video we'll see how we'll uninstall and then we'll try to install from the fresh, so that you will get to know how you will set up your system with the Prometheus and the DockerHub. So first, DockerHub is straightforward. So I have uninstalled. So you have to just right click on, you have to go to your control panel and go to your DockerHub and uninstall. So that's why I have not covering that here, but we can just cover a WSL2. So like you can go to your settings. So here, right? So then what you'll find, you will find your apps. There is a folder called apps here. Just click on this and then go to your apps and features. So in this apps and features, you will find your Linux version. So I have chosen Kali Linux. If you have installed Ubuntu or Alpine, whatever, you will get that version available here. So you can also like search here, like you can search for Linux and you will get two things. So I have installed this WSL version 2, which is WSL Windows subsystem for Linux. So I need to first uninstall this. Before that, you can uninstall this kind called Linux version. In your case, if it is Ubuntu, it will show here as well. So that is done. And then you can uninstall this part as well. Yes. Okay, so it is all done. So I think okay, so now you have uninstalled WSL2 as well as Linux, so you are good to go. So you can restart your system and then we'll see how we'll install DockerHub, Prometheus, and then WSL2 as well as Linux. Now we'll start installing DockerHub in our system, and then we'll install Prometheus and WSL, which stands for Windows Subsystem for Linux, and then Linux environment in our Windows operating system. So my machine is Windows 10, and in this Windows 10 Pro, let's install all these all these softwares from like press, because I have uninstalled everything. So now I logged into this DockerHub site, and then you can come down and here you'll find a documentation. So click on the documentation, and in this documentation site, you can go to Docker desktop. So go to install Docker desktop, and you will see there is installation steps for Mac and Windows. So now you can go to Windows, and here you have to download the Docker desktop for Windows. Okay, so I have downloaded. So for me, I have downloaded the Docker desktop installer already. So for you, you have to download. And system requirements, it required Windows 11 64-bit, Windows 10 64-bit, and you can go through all other things. Okay, and then you can install your DockerHub. Suppose you have a older version of Windows, and then you can just refer this document and take appropriate steps. And for me, since I have already downloaded Docker desktop, let me start installing this. And before that, you have to check in your system, your Hyper-V needs to be enabled. So for this, you can right click on your taskbar, go to Task Manager, and you can see here. Okay, so under this performance tab, so you can then you have to check how to enable it. So for that, you have to go to your BIOS setting, and then you have to do like you have to just enable this Hyper-V um, setup. So what, since in our system it is already enabled, so it is good. Then you just click this, and then if you want shortcut, you can click this. Otherwise, you can untick. So, but the first one is most important, and then start with OK. So its installation is successfully done. So you can close the window, Docker desktop icon here. So double click on this. Okay, so this is the license agreement. So you can just accept this and click on the accept. It won't start because you need to again install WSL and the respective Linux uh, application here. So it is clearly saying WSL2 installation is incomplete. The WSL2 Linux kernel is now installed using a separate MSI update package. Please click the link and follow the instructions. So you have to now click on this link. So here, after this installation, we need to restart. Okay, so press restart after installing the Linux kernel. So we have to install Linux kernel, but before that, we have to install WSL2. So here it is saying download the latest package. So you have to download this one. So I have already downloaded in my case. So let's go to my download folder, and this is not this one. Okay, so this one I have downloaded. Okay, so let me install it. So click on next, click on yes. See, the completed the Windows subsystem for Linux update. So it's done. So click on finish. So we have downloaded this and then say run. So we have installed this, and it's saying set WSL2 as your default version. So this one, if you want to set, you can set it. So for this, you have to go to CMD and try running this. For information on key differences with WSL2, please visit the operation completed successfully. Okay, the operation completed successfully. And then what you need to do, install your Linux distribution. Okay, so for this, what you need to do, so he's saying the open Microsoft Store. Okay, so let's open this Microsoft Store. Okay, let me open in another tab. So it will show you the Linux kernel version, right? So for me, it is showing Kali Linux, which is free, then Debian and Alpine. So Ubuntu, it is not showing. Maybe for your version, you have to see which one it is showing. Otherwise, you can up Ubuntu. You can search for Ubuntu, but I will install Kali. So let me click Kali here, and then I will install this. So simply click on the get. So it will download Kali Linux and then we'll install Kali in our system. Because our Docker container will run on this Linux environment. So then click on open. So it is saying installing. This will take few minutes. So we have to wait for few minutes. And once everything setup is done, then we have to close. We have to restart this system. Let's see what will happen. So here you have to put your Unix username. Okay. So let me put my username. And let me put my password. Then we have to retype your new password. Then password updated successfully and you are done. You have your Linux environment or the kernel ready, and simply click on the restart. You also close this, close now everything, and so we have done the installation part is done now. And then next what you need to do, let me, so it will just open my Docker desktop. So previously it was showing Docker desktop stopping because of that Linux kernel was not ready or the WSL was not installed. So initially it will not start. So we have to first install Docker hub, and then we have to install WSL, then we have to install Linux kernel, and then restart the system or restart that window. It will now show Docker desktop starting. You have to wait for a few minutes to make it up and running. Meanwhile, we can type here. Either we can type Kali, we'll get a Kali Linux. If you type WSL, you'll get WSL run command. If you check for Docker, so get started with the Docker in a few easy steps. You can skip the tutorial and then you are done. So you are inside your Docker desktop, Docker container, and what it is saying, try running this container or copy paste this command into your terminal and then come back. So it will basically set up your subdummy application. Okay, so we can check this. This is for testing purpose. So before that, we can just check what is the version. So if you type docker -v, I am using now 20.10. So now you can run this. So you're unable to find, definitely in my local system, we don't have yet this image getting started. So it will now pull this getting started image from Docker Hub. So it is downloading now. So like that, when you'll do Prometheus setup, that time also it will won't find the Prometheus image in our local system. It will download from Docker Hub. Okay, so our Docker run command is working fine. And so now you can see our Docker image getting started got created in our Docker desktop, and which status is running. And then what we need to do, let's go to your Docker no, here. So let's go to your Docker Hub. So we need to now set up our Prometheus server, right? So for that, search for Prometheus. So you will search for Prometheus, right? You will get the images here. So like all these images provided by different companies, but you have to search for Prometheus, the official one. You can even use any one, but here I'll just use the Prometheus uh, official image. So you have to actually search for a couple of pages. Otherwise, you can directly type. So let me just search to show you. So if you won't find, then we can search. Maybe it is on the next page. So let's try. Yes. So this Prom Hyper Prometheus, right? So this is the official Prometheus image. The same thing you can even try here. So do a Prom/Prometheus and enter. You will directly get the Prometheus image. Okay. And just click on this. So you'll get nice documentation. You can go through it. But before that, you have to just copy this command. Okay, this will just pull the Prometheus image from our Docker Hub to our local system. So let's run it. So it will always check for the latest one. So now it won't find in your local. So it will just get the latest image from Docker Hub, and it will just keep it in our Docker desktop container. Yes, so now Prometheus setup is done, and you can see your Docker Hub, and here you can see your images. So you can see getting started image also here, which is we have created before, and just now we have created the Prometheus as well. Okay, so you can see Prometheus, and you can say run. So you can see here the details. You can provide your container name, otherwise it will take the some random name, and the host, the port is default port is 9090, and you can map your our local host. Okay, so here you can say, suppose my local host also usually will put 9090, but if you can put even 9091 or 9095 something, you can put here, and it will just map this 9090 with your local port. Click on the image, click on run, check, and here you can say 9090 and say run. You can stop this. So basically on the Docker, right, you can run different instance of your image. So because we are testing in our local, so we have to set our host, basically host port, we need to map with the Docker Hub container port. So that is something we have done here. Okay, so that's why it's saying it is running on 9090. Actually, by default, it was running on 80 or 8080. So now we can test it. So see, the 9090 came up, and you can see our status here, and you can see the target. So it will show this is our target. So this is our local host, and just now we map 9090, and this is the metrics. Okay, and you can, this is our time series database and other things, but here our motive is not to discuss about anything here. So especially this is just for installation, and you can see your Prometheus is up and running. And let's go back. So this is your home page, and just try to run. So these are the basically different metrics. So you can choose anything. For example, I choose this. This will say heap memory related metrics. So just click on execute, click on graph, and you can see the nice graph. You can reduce your time, and you can see the graph here. Okay, so this Prometheus is meant for representing your metrics information in a graphical way. And so in this video, I think we have done everything. Hope it will be helpful to you all. So thank you.